Right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Ah, that's better. Welcome to Singapore. Thank you. Well, Max and Martina have done a fantastic job in bringing all of you together into this room today. I am delighted to be here for our first foray into Asia. It means I get to use all the same jokes I use in London, but with a fresh audience, because I've been doing this 5 years now and they all roll their eyes in London. So we've got a great day lined up for you, but let me just see. One of the exciting things, the questions that I think we're going to talk about is, what does the future look like? You know, that's about innovation, isn't it? What's coming next? And we couldn't have hoped to have this in a more futuristic-looking city. I mean, it really is sort of Blade Runner 2049. A few facts that I've learned, as one does as a sort of visitor in a strange and wonderful world. Singaporeans are apparently the fastest walkers in the world, okay? Ahead of Copenhagen and Madrid. Given how hot it is out there, I find that incredible, but I suppose you're just trying to power on to the next air conditioning. It's one of only 3 surviving city-states. Top marks to anyone who can give me the other 2. Monaco, very good. The Vatican, from the Irishman in the and the left, and it's the world's largest exporter of ornamental fish. So I think our colleagues at the Penjara farm are probably getting it wrong with perch. You know, the way to go forwards here is goldfish and the like. But more seriously, the world is increasingly looking east politically, economically, technologically, and it's only fitting, therefore, that we are now sort of sitting here to talk about innovation in Asia. And I, for one, am going to be fascinated to understand if, like, for example, the sort of broad area, the great generalization of Eastern medicine, you know, we're going to find that there are, as an outsider, certainly sort of differences in the way some of the Asian businesses or Asian-focused markets are tackling innovation, and that I can certainly take back to my colleagues back in London and understand. Anyway, I am here from Brown Genetics, so just to give that some context for a moment, we are an insight and innovation agency based in London. We work with the likes of Unilever, Mondelez, RB, a lot in beer, AB InBev, and one of our things which will become, I think, clear in a moment is thinking about human-centered insight and innovation. For today's purposes, Max and Martina have done all the hard work, so don't please compliment me on the great speakers or how well organized this is. I'm just the pretty face. Well, no, actually, my colleague Andrew will tell me I'm not the pretty face. I'm just the kind of man who stands up and has the easy job of introducing our great speakers and hopefully summing up at the end. Anyway, I'm going to start you off on a positive note, which is a few words about why, come 2025 maybe, our jobs won't exist. So nice, positive way to start the morning. Let me put that in a bit of context with this. Everyone speaks Japanese, right? This Japanese advert, which hopefully we can play. Right, well, as you will all have clearly understood, that is an ad for Claret's Mint tab that's meant to convey the message, instant breath freshening in just 10 seconds. But that's really not important. What is important is that this ad was, by McCann Tokyo, the first to be led by an AI creative director. That little robot there that looks something like Lost in Space is their kind of bringing to life of that. And in fact, McCann pitted artificial intelligence against a human creative director, with both creating ads. And when an industry body of 200 execs went to judge these, they actually voted for the crazy dog spot over the human. Now, let's give this a bit of context. Oh, here we go. Yeah, AI is everywhere. You know, we went from a world where it was a sort of sci-fi dream to the fact that it's very much part of life. You could be talking to your Alexa or Siri. You could be, I don't know, hopping in a driverless car if you live in California, or probably parts of Singapore as well. You could even be diagnosed by an AI medic. So it's now part of our everyday vocabulary. We're finding that investment in AI has increased tenfold over the last 4 years. But one of the biggest challenges is job losses. It's becoming increasingly clear many jobs that exist today won't exist in the coming years. AI is predicted to replace 16% of jobs over the next decade, with millions of workers reporting to robot bosses. Now, we know this is particularly an issue for lower-skilled jobs, but what about more creative jobs, like insight, innovation, design? Might this also be under threat? Well, while we might have considered creativity to be a uniquely human trait, this is a bit of a wake-up call. We are already seeing advanced AI like Watson Chef, with machine learning entering kind of creative industries. So Watson Chef by IBM creates amazingly innovative recipe combinations. Then you've got Ivor, which is an AI composer that can apparently write Beethoven-type music that's more Beethoven than Beethoven. And, you know, we've got our robotic dog and AI creative director. So these examples all demonstrate just how creative AI can be. So why not an AI innovation director? Why not an AI insight manager? Why are humans even needed anymore? And will the audience at GIFAsia 2025 look a bit more like this? Well, the good news is, today I'm here to tell you why we at Brand Genetics certainly believe that the future of innovation should be human. Now, this isn't a Luddite perspective. I am a cyber optimist. It's simply that we need to recognize there are critical human advantages that we can and should be tapping into as the rise of AI continues to permeate our world. For while there are huge advantages in artificial intelligence in the last 50 years, there's been almost zero movement in the world of artificial consciousness. And core to consciousness is the ability to feel things. So whether that's sadness or joy, whether that's boredom, hopefully not quite yet, or pain. In a world where we can increasingly leave data to AI to do faster, better, more accurately, I want to argue that innovators should be focusing their attention on feelings as our core human point of difference. And more specifically, I want to make a case for 3 key contributions that feelings can make to better innovation. So how can we identify new opportunities through what we ourselves as individuals feel? How can we create innovations that feel right for others? And how can we get others to feel the same way about these ideas as we do? It is, if you will, our manifesto for human-centered innovation. Now, I'm going to start by talking about our own feelings and how we can better tap into these and identify new opportunities through what we feel. But I'm going to start with a quick bit of fun. On every table in the center, there should be some sheets of paper. So can everyone grab individually a sheet of paper and a pen? And if you're sitting in these chairs here, you should have a sheet of paper below your seat. So grab one of those. Grab something to lean on. I swear this is the scariest thing you're going to do all day. It's not really that scary. So everyone got their pen, piece of paper. I suggest you turn it over to the unlined, because I'm going to turn you all into artists. So I did this 5 years ago, I think the first one I chaired, and we'll do it again today as a sort of mark of the inaugural Asia Day. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds. I want you to each turn to your left. So if you're at a round table, you know, we can spin around. I want you to draw the person to your left. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Okay? On your marks, get set, person to your left, go. Much more fun than listening to me. "15 seconds down. Halfway through. I know there are some designers amongst us, so no pressure. Very concentrated. 15 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Thank you, Max. Now, I want you to sign it, please. Sign it with your name. Be proud of your work. And then I would like you to, especially if you don't know them, put whoever it was you drew, put their name at the top, if you could. So find out and show them what you have done. Show them your fine work. And now I'm coming for you. Okay. Let's see. Come on, give me. Is this yours, Mike?
Yes, it is.
So is this you?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Just saying.
Lim. Okay. Lim. Guys, I'm going to just pull out a few mighty works of art. Mike, what do you think you've captured here about Lim that's particularly artistic? It's very good, by the way.
He's strikingly good looking, so I try to capture that.
I think you've got the hair brilliantly. You know. So strikingly good looking Lim. I'm gonna. Who else have we got? Who can I pick on? What have we got down here? Look at this. Ian, tell me a little bit about this. And your name is Chin. So again, you won't be able to see. We'll put these all up so everyone can. Ian, what have you captured, do you think, so well about Chin?
Well, the view I had.
The view at the back of her head. Lovely hair. Well done. I've got one more. I'm gonna come over this side. One more. Anyone got something they're particularly unimpressed with or proud of? Where are we going? Oh, here we go. Let me pull this out. Who's this? Is this of you?
Yeah.
So Rena, right? I'm going to try and learn some names. And who did this fine piece of work? Oh, I'm sorry. And what was it that you think you've captured so well about Rena?
She looks happy.
She looks very happy. There you go. Now, look, that's the end of the embarrassment. I think you should all be very proud of your work. Give yourselves a round of applause, actually. That's... My point is simply this, a nice sort of little exercise, and there's lots we can take out of it. But what I want to ask you to take out of it is that there's individuality in all of us, both in what you have seen in others, so whether it's strikingly good looking, wonderful hair, your happy face, it's brilliant, or whether actually it's in your perspective as the artist, what you see in others. Okay, and that individual perspective, I think, is something that we must trust. Okay, we must start to trust our gut feelings because, and I'm sorry to go back to it, but AI deals in algorithms and data. But while automated creativity can learn, it remains rule-based, and it will always be better at measuring that which already exists than, understanding that which could exist. Now, conversely, as innovators, as entrepreneurs, we deal in the world of risk. We know, the stats always tell us, that most things we try won't work out. But whilst the kind of computer might say no, we have to take a leap at some point. Otherwise, we're just going to do nothing. We've got to trust that gut feel, take that leap of faith. Now, if you think of some of the big innovations of recent time, you'll often find a story of success against the odds. So Red Bull came into the market, broke all the rules. It tasted disgusting, it still does. It's priced at a massive premium, and yet it created a whole new category, valued the brand is valued today at kind of nearly $8 billion over. Nespresso, well, quantitative data repeatedly suggested this was a niche opportunity, doomed to failure. But again, Nestle trusted it, or certain teams within there trusted it, and now, again, it's sales of nearly $5 billion worldwide. And again, I think we're in the 10th year of the Apple iPhone. Again, I was listening to Steve Ballmer be interviewed the other day, and many of you may remember him sort of famously laughing at this $500 phone from a company that had yet to sell a single one. Well, even when Steve Jobs showed them the iPhone, and he said a lot of people don't know what they want until they see it, actually, at first, it wasn't sort of necessarily a huge success, especially amongst experts. Yet Apple defied them, and today this has been I would argue, the innovation that's defined the last decade. So these little insights often are what spark these great innovations. It's not necessarily big data that leads you to the iPhone. We are all unique individuals, and celebrating that diversity of perspective is key. So we believe such fresh insights, such little sparks, often come from more kind of individual circumstances. We've set about sort of trying to de-average our research, move away from the norms and the mass, talk to extreme consumers, or put normal people into extreme situations to try and break that reality. So rather than looking for representative parts of insight, we need to see the world afresh and ignite new thinking. Now, just quickly, final 2 points. First of all, we need to feel what others feel. So how can we ensure we create innovations that feel right for others? A very quick thought experiment. Mary, the color scientist, as the name might suggest, is a brilliant color scientist who, for the sake of this exercise, lives in a purely black and white world. Now, she specializes in the color blue and knows everything that data can tell her about the color blue. What physiological effect it has on you when you see blue, how kind of that light reflects off the retina. My question, though, is if she's suddenly released from her black and white world and sees blue for the first time with her own eyes, will she learn anything or not? Well, it's an open question, and some people might feel yes, and some people might feel no, but I know that, what we feel is yes. And actually, too often as corporate innovators, we are like Mary. We are locked in our little corporate bubble. We're stuck in the R&D lab, or we're in corporate HQ, but actually we need to get out there and sort of have situations where we understand our clients and our consumers firsthand. In some ways, sort of it's design thinking democratized. So whether it's ethnographies, whether it's sort of walking a mile in others' shoes, we had male clients dressing up in women's tights for a shawl exercise recently. We even created a house party to help Budweiser sort of understand what that looked like. However you do it, get out there and see the world through the eyes of your target audience. Lastly, innovation, as we all know, is 1% inspiration, but 99% perspiration. And in businesses that are geared for repetition and efficiency rather than change, how do we create that emotional impact that gets others on board? Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed that the CEO was one of the least likely, apart from being a dentist, to lose their jobs to AI, of course. But the CEO is human too, and as Kahneman has shown, humans are not the rational beings we would like to think we are. And whilst we often understand that with consumers, we often fail to think about that with senior stakeholders. Just one last example to bring this to life, which is, as I'm sure you'll recognize when it pops up. There we go, Dove Real Beauty. Again, like most good ideas, this was firmly rejected at first. And what did it take to convince the board that actually, whilst women said they wanted to see these sort of body representations, that's what they actually meant? Well, it wasn't extensive quantitative data or a careful A/B concept testing. In fact, it was when someone had the bright idea of going to these guys' wives and daughters and showing them the concept and filming their response and then showing it back to them, that they were finally convinced that this made sense. You know, the consumer can be stupid, but your wife probably can't be. So actually, you know, reaching out and touching people, senior stakeholders on an emotional level, and bringing that to life with human stories can help make data meaningful. Whether that's through film, whether that's through putting them face-to-face with consumers, anything that you can do to sort of engender that emotional impact, you know, is important, because ultimately we need to win hearts as well as minds to drive change through a business. By all means, back it up with data, but first of all, remember we are emotional, not rational. Now, in the end, the future is likely to look a bit more like this, right? A partnership of human and artificial intelligence. But we need to understand and build on what it is that it truly means to be human, and what this unique advantage, how this uniquely advantages us in the world of innovation. So, to summarize our manifesto of human-centered innovation, we must embrace our individual perspectives, our own gut feelings to uncover new opportunities. We must champion the power of empathy, that ability to feel what others feel, to create innovation that feels right in context. And we must create stories that give data real meaning and help get others to feel as passionate as you do about your innovation. If we can do this, then you won't just be future-proofing your own innovation role, but I would argue you will create better, more successful, and more human-centered innovation. Thank you.